G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s Show. Now, not long ago I did an episode called INXS at the movies, and I'd like to follow that up today with a look at some of the songs, the solo songs that Michael Hutchence contributed to movies in the 80s. I mean, there's a few great ones out there, so I'd just like to bring your attention to them. Now, firstly guys, when Michael Hutchence was about 22 years of age back in, say, 1982, he did a solo track for an Australian movie called Freedom. This is a lesser known film. It stars the late John Blake. It also features an actress who was in Puberty Blues called Jad Kapelja. And man, I mean, this is an odd film, but Hutchence contributes a great song to it. I mean, the song is called Speed Kills. And this film is kind of, a bit of a Porsche dream story. And I mean, if you haven't seen this film, definitely do yourself a favour and check it out. If you like cars and, the quirkiness of Aussie escapism, I think that this film really delivers in that department. And it's a bit of adolescent rebellion contained in this story, and I think Michael's song Speed Kills brings so much to it. And this song really has a lot to do with that. I mean, Speed Kills, and this is a film about freedom. As I said, that's the title, and it's a car film, and it's about a guy that has a fascination with Porsches. In fact, he actually steals one and goes on a bit of a road trip with this young runaway. And I think it's an underrated film, and I think the track that Hutchence contributed to this film is really cool. Now, the music for Speed Kills was actually supplied by Don Walker of Cold Chisel, and I really think that Hutchence's lead vocals here have a raw intensity. I mean, as I said, he was only 22, and he really gives it an edge, this song, and if you haven't heard it before, I mean, check it out. Now, moving right along to 1986, and Hutchence actually got a starring role in an Australian film called Dogs in Space. This was a post-punk film set in the late 70s, and Hutchence actually plays a kind of drugged out frontman for a band in Melbourne. And this is a very gritty, disturbing film, but what can I say? Hutchence contributed 3 songs to this soundtrack. The first one was the titular Dogs in Space. He also did another track, guys, called Golf Course. That was interesting. Golf course when I was young, I didn't know you. And another one called Rooms for the Memory. 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 And Hutchence really nails his vocals on this. And what can I say? Hutchence did this film as a bit of a favour for a good friend of his called Richard Lowenstein. And the two have collaborated a lot over the years, and they were also involved in the Australian-made concert series that followed shortly after Dogs in Space. Now, as I said, Dogs in Space is this gritty movie that's really not for everyone, but if you're interested in the music scene in Australia, definitely check it out. And Hutchence, I think these 3 songs that he brought to this thing, they're very cool. So if you're a Hutchence fan, definitely check out the soundtrack to Dogs in Space. And Michael also contributes a fun little story, a novelty item called The Green Dragon to the soundtrack, and definitely check that out as well.
Once upon a time, there was a green monster, and he ate a whole train full of obnoxious people. Of course, he got a very bad case of indigestion that lasted for many weeks, and so he eventually decided he needed some medicine.
So yeah, Dogs in Space was this movie that was supposed to appeal to the youth, and it kind of did, but it was slapped with an R-rated due to all the drug and coarse language content, and it kind of faded away at the box office, but it's become a cult movie, and it did quite well on the rental shelves on video. So yes, guys, that was a bit of a look back at Michael's solo work for films in the 80s, and I think he gave so much to Freedom and Dogs in Space, and it's just a nice little thing that we have there to reflect on when it comes to Michael Hutchence, the front man of INXS. So yeah, there are a couple of oddity tracks, guys, but definitely check them out. I think they will be of interest to fans. So that just about does it. If you missed my other episode titled INXS at the Movies, please check that out, guys. That was a lot of fun, and I might be back again some other time with some more on INXS. But until then, guys, as always, please like, comment and subscribe, and keep watching the channel because I have a lot more music content coming your way. It's been an absolute pleasure reflecting on Michael Hutchence, and what can I say? This is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and as energetic as Michael and Jimmy combined. Please subscribe, and good night, viewers.